Yes, ladies, welcome to the show. We are live on Facebook, and we get to rambling and talking, and you know how we get, and we always end up late. We need to start at 2:30. I love it. We get together and it's funny, you know. But ladies, welcome to the 13th edition of Sunday Brunch, July 26th. Put yourself up.
Hey, hey,
It is
hey,
what it is. I love it. I love it.
hey.
Always toasting it up for my ladies. My panelists, Carolyn Town, 501c3 with Living Beyond You and Child Development Behavior Specialist from Bayonne, New Jersey in the house. We're doing a Microsoft on you, Virginia. Corner in the market with the New Jersey crew. Tamika Dixon, great current business owner. Anybody needs to rent a car, you know where to go. My girl's over there in Linden. Okay, she'll help you out. The Hall of Fame over there. You know what it is. And we got the godmother coming up in the rear.
Yeah,
Virginia,
yeah,
Virginia Clemens, TM Future Hall of Famer out of DC. You know how we do. Adrian Goodson, your host, finishing it up, coming to the stage. We have our Austin Castle Ballers today, as usual. Piggybacking off of what we piggybacked off of what we piggybacked off of before. And the conversation about the NBA and the WNBA starting. The girls started yesterday. I was excited. I really was. I was excited. I needed some basketball in my life. I'm gonna be honest with you, and that's not to slight the WNBA or the NBA. They could have had a rec ball league on, and I would have been front and center. Okay, I needed to see some ball. Bottom line is this. The girls started yesterday in Bradenton, down there in Florida. And since then, we've had, three just fantastic things come up front and center. First being the Black Lives Matter, campaign for Breonna Taylor. Today's a good day. And I posted this up. Today's a good day to arrest those police who killed that child. That was somebody's daughter. That was somebody's grandbaby. That was somebody's sister. We got to do something about that. And so, how did you guys like the stance we've taken? Take
I
that,
thought
Dominic.
I
Go ahead, Meek.
I'll interject a little bit. Start first.
It's a new day.
Yeah, I actually I think the WNBA historically has always kind of stood on the front lines for social justice. They've always stood out, standed out. Players have always stepped forward and spoke about issues before a lot of times before other leagues have. And I think it's an awesome initiative. I think the girls, you can see they're unified. Unlike the NBA, which I think they took a different stance with it, but I think overall the league in itself is unified and standing on one ground with their Brianna initiative. And I think throughout the league, if I'm not mistaken, and I've read about they'll be talking about other people, other women who have also lost their lives, to police brutality, like a Sandra Bland and Atiana Jefferson and some of the other ones that have also done that. So I think it's an awesome initiative, and I definitely, as a former player, stand behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. What you think, Amma? How'd you think about what you think about yesterday and how we took our stance yesterday?
Oh, it's over to the godmother. I thought it was awesome. I think that, it's going
What
to
would you?
continue to let people see that this is not a moment. It's a movement that's going to keep moving. And, one thing I could say about us as females is that when we take that stance, we usually get it done. A group of strong women behind a strong cause, and because sometimes when you start playing sports, people forget about it. I was so happy that they kicked off the WNBA, but before they kicked off, they said, hey, let's remind you of what we're playing for this year. I think it's a great cause.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and you're right. I'll piggyback off of what Meek said. You know how we just came up with that unified stance. You know where everybody's together and we're on the same page, so we know what we're fighting for. You know, and I really appreciated them doing that. And even to the point where you could see that they were social distancing when they were interviewing the girls, to talk about the Black Lives Matter. And when they were interviewing them, you could see the whole social distancing. And it was funny because, I'm a 2K20, 2K19, 2K18 NBA lover, so I play the video game. And so if you go on and you have it on your phone and you go and you play against somebody online, they have the court set up where there's nobody in there. It's just the two teams playing, and then there's just all signage all around. So I was like, wow, they really did put it together so that it looked like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do the men because they do it because the men that's the aspect that you have on the men's side. I'm waiting for EA Sports. I'm waiting for all of these games that have the WNBA. Listen, we need to be able to create our own character. Right now, I'm Goody Goodson as a man playing in the NBA. I really like to see Goody playing. Her character. Here, they let you create legends on the men's side, but then when it gets to us, we gotta be a man in the NBA. Come on now, you guys stop. But you know, gonna get, we got to get the brains, we got to get the behavioral specialist involved in this. How important was it for, the league and the girls to feel like they can continue to participate in this Black Lives Matter and all of these things that we're doing to create social change in the United States and across the globe? How important is it for the girls to still feel like that as an individual?
Listen, girl power all the way. I'm for it. I love it. I honestly, the can is open. Let the worms come out. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? It really is open. Let it come out. It's wonderful. It's amazing. And just like in different times in history where women came together so that we can vote and, do jobs that were male dominated, this is our time now in 2020 to show who we are in every aspect. Why? Why not? You know what I mean? So I'm all for it.
yeah,
Girl
absolutely.
power.
Okay. And then we were talking about it off of the cuff too,
Yeah.
just about how, we were all intrigued and excited about this and watching it and stuff like that. And, I know that it's early, but, what types of things would you like to see or you guys like to see as far as that social justice was concerned? Was there anything that we could have changed, anything that we could have did better to bring, are we going to take one person every time that we have a game? Like yesterday was Breonna Taylor. Is today going to be, Sandra Bland? Like how are we going to do that? Is there anything that we could do to like connect more with the people out there to get them to understand that this is a positive movement and not a negative one so much?
Well, I
I
feel
oh,
that, no, go ahead, Meek. I can go
go
after you. Go ahead, Meek. No,
um
no, you go, Meek.
no.
You the baby of the bunch. You get to do
No,
whatever you
we
want to
we
do.
encouraging you speaking today.
um
Exactamente. Exactamente.
Sucker free shirt on. Do
that's
you sucker
right,
free?
all day long. But I really thought that they did a good job. I even I sat and watched all the games yesterday because I really,
Mhm.
first of all, I was thirsty for some ball. Like you, I just wanted to
Exactly.
see some hooping. So for me, it was just great to be, just to
A little
watch
bit
as a
Dunkin'
fan. But
Donuts.
yeah, absolutely. But even the halftime shows had, showed was reflecting on, the Black Lives Matter movement. I really like how they got Breonna Taylor's mom involved and had an interview with her and got her thoughts on it and her approval with it. Just I think overall it's going to be interesting and I'm excited to see where it's going to go because it's going to be a long season. So let's see where they take it. But I think to start out and the initial thoughts on it was great.
Yeah. And Penny, how many players are total in the league?
Well, it depends now. It's changed because if you have every team doesn't have 12. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
can have as
Yeah.
many as 144, but some teams have 11. But I do want to give a shout out to somebody that I'm watching on Facebook Live, and this my girl Rochelle Hall. She said yesterday made her feel. She said yesterday made her feel so good to see them in their shirts and being able to make a statement on opening day. It was so positive. So I just wanted to shout that fan out because we love the participation on Sunday brunch. But yeah, you back
Absolutely.
to your question. You could if every team had 12, it's 144. Some teams may have 11 and make it a little less. But you know, the bottom line is united you stand. They stand, and that's why it was so positive. The thing that I would like to see going forward is, you know, it's one of those things where just like them standing united now, it's about action. You know, that's an action in a positive way. Now, what I would like to see is, okay, some of the minority businesses to get involved with the NBA and the WNBA to be allowed to be involved. You know, throw them some of the business that, you know, they can help, how you say, grow their business as well, being a minority, considering that the majority of the league is minority. You know, so I want to see some of those changes that, you know, in the front office, more minorities. You know, like if it's something that your team needs, whether it's press or printing work or whatever it may be, use some of those smaller businesses, you know, because
Absolutely.
how you say it impacts the community. It makes a positive statement, and it's one thing to make a statement, but actions speak louder than words. So for me, yeah, this has been great in 2020. Now I want to see it being executed, not just this year in 2020, but when COVID's over, I want to see it in 21, 22, 23. I want it to become a part of the fabric that the league is made of. That these are the things that we're going to be intentional with our efforts to be all inclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it too is just it's just such a great time for so many things to happen. And I just and I continue to keep going there as far as the coverage is concerned. I want to see these games on Facebook Live, and I'm gonna keep on shoving it and ramming it down their throats. You need to be on Facebook Live, just like you did with the G League. That's how the G League blew up because you guys were on Facebook Live and you made those faces available and accessible to everybody. The Facebook Live, and they're not making any sense, and this is the reason why they're not. They have more people on Facebook than they have on any other social network, and they don't utilize Facebook. You're not making any sense. Most of your people are over here. Your former players are over here. Your fans are over here. Current and former are over here. People that want to see, that have no idea how to get connected to you. We need to make it happen on Facebook Live. Period. Boom. Now we talking about sponsors. Now we bringing in those people that can come in. I want to see Revlon. I want to see Dark and Lovely. I want to see black products. I want to see 75% of the league is black. Then 75% of what you pitching needs to be a black product. So we go on to other things, and it just opens up doors to other things that we could talk about. But we always talk about a lot of positive things off the scene. We're not going to talk about a whole lot of those things. And keep it tight. But I would love to see the league grow. I want to see this TV coverage become more. And I want to shout out to a lot of people because we're starting to get like a serious following here. Sheree Williams, what's up, love? I see you all
Hey,
of the time.
Ray.
Susan, all right, my girl down there, my prayer warrior. I got to get you back. I lost mine 2 weeks ago, my auntie. All right, we got Shell Daly on here. What's up, coach? My coach from San Antonio. What's up? On here. I wish that I saw it says bring them on camera, but it doesn't say bring on camera with you. Lady D, Taisha, Lachelle, what's up? What's up?
Hey, sis.
Okay. Okay. And then we got Lady D over here talking about Houston, Texas needs a team. We're gonna talk to you later. Since women are paid equally, I like to see girls first get first dibs on employment in the NBA and the WNBA while they work on pay equity. Better
Well, I
stop it.
think we've been fighting for that forever. I
Right.
think the even take the national women's soccer national team, you know, like they said, they're winning all the games and taking less money, but filling filling the stadium just like the men are filling the stadium, but they're walking off with the hardware as well. All I tell you, COVID-19 minus the devastation is done with people losing their lives and the quarantine. It has shined a spotlight, and I think it's pushing people out of that comfort zone that we have to do better. It's making everybody stretch and be better. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I had a conversation a couple of nights ago, and we were talking about adversity. I had a conversation last night. When you see Points for Penny go up tomorrow, when I'm talking about faith, and all these things, you have to be willing to get a little uncomfortable to get better. Anybody, I don't care what you say, whenever you got better, I can tell you there was discomfort before.
Absolutely.
You might not have felt it as discomfort. And just like now, the world is discomfort. And the people that want to move forward, they will adjust and they will move forward. And then there are going to be some people that like the status quo, and that's never going to change. Because you know what they say, you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. But the reality of it is, COVID-19 made it, well, guess what? This world will never be the same. And I can tell you, even as human beings, we'll never be the same. It just won't be that way, and that's why I say, yeah, it's bad for the deaf, but look at all the good that's coming out of it too, which shows you that you can find a silver lining in anything. If you're that type of person and want to find that silver lining, and this is why I say every day, we all have devastating stuff going on. And, I've been dealing with some stuff that's been devastating, with people that have been sick in my family. But I always say this to myself, I'm not going to wear that badge, because you can choose to wear it or you can choose not to wear it. And I choose not to wear it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not telling people out there that, my friend asked me, Penny, do you ever have a bad day? Of course I do. But I said, of course I do. I've had stuff that knocked me to my knees. But the reality of it is, it's okay this is what people need to understand. It's okay to get knocked to your knees. It's okay to get knocked on your back. But the thing that you have to do is get up. Because when you get up, you will see that it's so much easier. And, not to be long-winded here, it's sort of like the conversation, like I said, it's on Points for Penny. I'm giving that a shout-out to my thing. And I told my friend, he said, Penny, I had a strong mind. I believe in this. And I did all these things. And I say, there's one more element that you need to do that he forgot about. And he said, what's that? I say, have faith. Because faith conquers all. And that's not about going to church, because it does. It's the thing I live by, even when I get knocked down. I always say, and, like I said, I don't want to take you to church, but I do want to tell you the phrase. Faith sees the invisible, believes the incredible, and achieves the impossible. And I told my friend, if you had that faith in the beginning and you believed it, you have to have it now. When these circumstances make you second guess yourself. And this is what I'm saying. Let me bring it back to Black Lives Matter. No, this is not just 2020. Now that it's changing, we have to keep it changing. We have to demand change. Not when things go back to where we're all outside, everything's okay again. It'll never be that way. And the sooner everybody realizes that, the better we're going to be. Yeah. So I'm just saying, let's keep pushing it forward. Let's have faith. Let's keep the movement going. And, let's just be better. This is the world just saying we need to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. And this whole process and this whole walk that we're in at this moment right now, and playing basketball, giving people a model and a blueprint to follow after, because college is getting ready to get started. The kids are supposed to be going back to school, next month. All right, high school is going to be started. All of these blueprints and all of these models that we're creating and setting for everybody, just setting the trend and being the leader. I love it. That's what we do. We've done this since we were kids. And so with that said, I'm so adamant about our coverage and how people cover us. And I would be remiss, because it's a tedious subject. I hate to get up in the morning and see different things circulating through the air, whether they're true or not. And, the story out there, being out there at this moment right now with ESPN and The Guardian making statements that the girls walked out on the national anthem. And I want to get this clear with people that are out there, especially those people that just listen to what people say and they don't do their research to find out. I'm going to get mad at you because of what she told me or what he told me instead of doing my own research. Most people out here in America are like that. So to clear this up, we did not walk out, okay? Knowing how we are and how scheduled we are, there was a moment in time when the girls were scheduled to leave out of that gym and go into the locker room. The music was not playing when they decided to exit. This all happened prior to it, okay? So you got the camera rolling, and then you got people thinking that that's what's happening. You got reporters taking snapshots of the kid that probably is going to be a rookie of the year, putting her in a negative light, saying that she walked out. Don't do that. That's not what we need to do. We're trying to uplift, social injustice, and we're also trying to deal with pay and equality. We don't need negative press. We don't need them messing up sponsorship dollars and putting a negative connotation on women as they usually do in business, as they usually do in sports, as they usually do in the workforce, and they usually do in society. So I have to make mention to it because that's not how it played out. And I do not want this Black Lives Matter movement that we're doing in a positive light to be shed in a negative light by a television company that's supposed to be blowing us up or anybody else that's supposed to be supporting us right now. So that's my opinion. That's not coming from Tamika Dixon. It's not coming from Virginia Tola. It's not coming from Tara. It's coming from Adrian Goodson. We need to stop this mess and the negative picture and the negative light that we have that we always want to shed on women in sports. Stop it. And that's all I wanted to say.
It's interesting because, I'm always going to be a supporter of the WNBA, whether I work in it or I don't work in it, because I understand what the WNBA is about. And when I say it's about positive women. It's about, first of all, it's about we should have a league of our own. Let's start there.
Yeah.
But it's also about that people, I think, don't get it, that, and this is the part of that change I'm talking about. You notice how, think about it, and we've been in it. Adrian, Tara, you don't play, but I'm just talking about the players. Everything they say now is funny. Isn't it what we heard day one when the league started? It's not going to be around. Women can't play basketball. Nobody wants to watch it. And here we are going in the year 24. People are watching it. It's still around. The collective bargaining agreement was done, and women are making more money. And this is the perfect example to everybody out there that want to say something negative about the league. And like you say, Goody, me and you are different. The more negative you talk, it seems the bigger the league gets. So have at it, as far as I'm concerned. Because all the things that you said that we weren't going to do, the WNBA has done it. And this is what I'm talking about. When the movement is positive and everybody is on board, the train will move even. The train has left the station and it will not stop. And this is what the WNBA has said. Even in the face of all the negativity, the movement has kept going. The movement has kept going. I hope I'm around at year 50 when I'm like, wow, they still staying there? Oh, the league's going to go away tomorrow? Oh, my God. We heard it all. The same stuff we're hearing now, we heard it in 1997 when the league first started. It's not going to be here. It's not going to be around. Right or wrong, me?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And here we are, like you said, 20 plus years going.
24 years.
Yeah, and still moving in the right direction. Still making the positive changes. Still, fighting for women's equality and all of those things. And it's getting better every day. And the thing I always like to talk about, because you always get, you're going to have people who always try to shed a negative light on things. And I always say, when people talk about the disparities between what the men are making and the women are making, I'm like, people have to put things in perspective. I said this is year 24 of the WNBA, and I've had this conversation probably every year. And I'm saying, this is year, when it was year 20. I'm like, this is year 20. Think about where the NBA was year 20. You know, I've had conversations, and PT, I've always picked Michael Cooper's brain when I was, playing under him. And in the 80s, they were still flying commercial. So people think, you look at the NBA now and see where it is,
Yeah.
and you think, they just arrived there. No, you had to, it's a struggle. It's a fight to get to that point. But it wasn't always glorious and they flying charter flights and making all this money, and it wasn't always that. So people have to put things into perspective and know that, if you think year 24 where the WNBA is now, I like where it is now. And I like that it's moving forward in a positive direction. And I'm looking forward to see what year 30 is going to bring, year 35 is going to bring. Because it's here to stay, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So toast it up to the haters. You know, every bit of my success
Yeah.
came.
Big toast to
Every,
them.
every every bit of my success came from the motivation that you gave me to be who I am, and it still goes on. It ain't no different. Bring it up. You know that's silly, but um, real talk. We got a lot of people on here. I wish I would ask questions. Definitely. Get into the next. Get into the next thing. And we've had this conversation. I love being the leader. Um, conversations and then watching people follow up with the stuff. It's funny. It really is. And is the situation with the COVID, right? And we talk about how tricky this virus is. It goes in your body. I was just reading an article this morning, so powerful. It goes in your body and it masks itself within your cells and your DNA, and it doesn't allow your body to think that there's something wrong until it kind of like clones itself. Something weird how it does it. And so you can get tested for this and you can test negative, you know, and go on about your business. And then maybe a couple of weeks later, you full blown. And this is how it's like getting people really, really sick. Oh, you toasting me up, Tara, on that one? I heard that. So,
Okay. Get a toast to Tara. Tara T. Okay.
with that being said, we have Glory Johnson and Kalani Brown from the Atlanta Dream. You guys play for the Dream. Good Lord. Everything is just kapow when the fan, it hits it. And it's not when it hits the fan, it's when it blows out the fan. That's when it's a problem. Please pray for these people. They got a multitude of issues going on down there, from the coconut owner to, you know, the two players testing for COVID, positive for COVID, and it all coincides with what we were discussing about them having and needing to have, you know, reserve players being over there in that bubble for situations that happen like this. So now the Glory don't have to be, oh man, we got 8 players to practice now, or we got 10, 9. Now you can't practice properly. So, I hope that they're trying now to, rectify that situations. You got enough teams that you can bring in an extra 2 people and bring them in the bubble, quarantine there behind. So if anything happens, somebody gets hurt, whatever, come on. And you get to pick the 2 players that you want. And I might just be rambling, but we got to do something, Gama.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I said in the beginning that, and it's a lot, because I mean, even to get this game up and going, it was a lot on a lot of people, and I think they've done an amazing job, like far as trying to keep all the
Yeah,
players healthy.
absolutely.
And that was just one little thing that I thought was missed in terms of yeah, they should have took an extra 10 to 12 players in the bubble that they can choose from. So if someone does go down, they don't have to bring someone in and then they got to be quarantined for another 10 days because
Yeah,
they're already there. And they could have let the coaches, decide on which 10 to 12 players could have went in the bubble. But see, this is just showing you, even like right now, and I think it's awesome that it is 12 players. But when we first started in the WNBA, it was actually 13 players on the team.
yeah, that player reserve.
Remember, you had the player reserve too. And I think there's so many good players out there that, you know, I applaud that you can have 12, but yeah, hopefully within the next 2 years or something, they can get to 13. And if not get to 13, to be honest with you, you have enough players to really start expanding the league. And I know a lot of people say, how can you talk about expansion when there's COVID? Because there are a lot of great players. America is a big country. There are a lot of great players that are just sitting out there. And I hope that they do expand soon because guess what? It's more jobs. I'm hoping that women get is more opportunity for a lot of other players because right now a lot of those going overseas is really not an option for everybody like it was anymore. Their
Yeah,
country are dry as well,
yeah.
So
Good
if we're
times.
going to this model where it's going to be a longer season in the WNBA, then yeah, we need to look at now because I do think there is an opportunity to add one or two teams, and I hope they look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. How beautiful would that be?
Hey y'all, I got Tasha Mills on my live. She
Oh, big baby,
big baby.
baby, baby.
She chiming in with a couple questions of her own. She said,
What to
I'm gonna
do, babe?
I'm gonna give you a few questions for her. She said, "What about the check for the vets? Where's our monthly check like the NBA?"
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
Where
I'm
my check
talking
at?
about. That's
Best
what I'm
question
talking
ever.
about.
That's the best question ever. Where my check
You
at?
know, I need my pension. I need that. We got so many things to talk about. They better hope the vets don't come on here because we're gonna have to answer them types of questions. You
Hey, that's a
understand?
fact.
Yeah, we put this league. We carried the league first. Where that money? Where that back check at?
Where that
Yeah.
check at? You know what I'm saying? All them jerseys that was sold. I mean, there's so many things that we still need to bring to the collective bargaining agreement. We a lot of things happen, positive things. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But y'all still got a long way to go. You still got a long way to go. There's some things that really need that this revenue sharing needs to come to the forefront in a major way. I got some dollars on the table, man. We all do. So whatever, that was a great question. What else did she ask?
Um, Let me see. I had got booted out of my live, but she also made a reference to how can the players invest in the Atlanta team. We got some issues down there in Atlanta.
Everybody praying for the ATL, boy. They just fell apart. And the sad thing is, they came in on a dream. There was so much, and I loved their campaign when they were first bringing that team around. Everything was just the ATL, a dream. I have a dream. It was all based around all of this Black Lives Matter stuff that you see in a positive way with all of our black colleges that are down there, and there's so many people rallied around this team coming together, and to see what's happening to that team right now, it just really pains my heart. It really does.
Well,
It
first
makes
I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy James Davis that's on here, chatting us
Oh
up.
shucks, we getting coaches
Um,
on there.
no, he's not a coach. Actually, if you need a stylist or
Oh, I
somebody
thought you were
to
talking about James down there.
up your brand, he's your man. Crystal
Okay.
Evans. I see her on my Facebook Live feed. She was a young coach when she came into the league, and she was so positive that the Sparks used to practice over at Southwest. Whenever I came in, believe it or not, and I know she probably thought that, I don't want to bug you, Miss Toll, but I used to love to talk to her because her enthusiasm, and Crystal, I'm talking about you now, Crystal Evans, her enthusiasm, her passion for the game. I was like, this is what the NCAA need. This is what the WNBA need. people that are passionate and enthusiastic about the sport. But getting back to Atlanta now, and here's what I'm hoping happens in Atlanta. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe that things happen for a reason. But
Absolutely.
here's the thing that I'm hoping come up out of everything. Education. When we know better, we do better.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said when that situation happened, I'm not, it's America. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping people get smarter, be more educated, and then they can change their opinion. So I'm
Absolutely.
pulling for them. I'm pulling for them. I even like their team. They're young, but I'm pulling for them.
Yes, yes. I'm upset with them that they that they sent Brittany Sykes out there to the Sparks. Like I just don't know how I feel about that. I love that kid. She's from New Jersey. I recruited her, tried to get at Old Dominion. I watched her play. Love her style. She reminds me of me. Um, man, you know, LA
Well, I tell you,
LA raked up. Y'all raked up. Y'all got Sykes. Y'all got Simone Augustus. You got the motor that won the championship for the Mystics, the point guard. I'm getting old. I'm losing names.
she's not playing this year. You talking about Chrissy Tolliver?
See Tolliver,
She
like yeah, like LA
she's
just
sitting
kind of
out this year.
for the night.
But see, don't even forget about Maria Vadiva that's not there, the
Yeah,
Russian player. Vadiva is going to be an awesome player. The Sparks are loaded, and they definitely going to make a run for it and make a run. But I'm going to tell you something, Atlanta, and I'm not going to give away one secret as a GM, but I'm going to tell you something. Atlanta's still loaded because they got Tiffany Hayes. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Renee Montgomery, who's out
All
there.
they got to
They
say.
added Courtney
Exactly. See?
Williams. They got Kennedy Carter. They got Alexis Jones. They're still loaded, and it's a young team that's on the rise. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, they're a dark horse, but if Nikki can put it together, they can make a run. And then, like I tell you, sometimes, and me can tell you this, sometimes even in LA, when things are crazy, that's when you do your best work. Look at the
Exactly.
Lakers for years. People they walked off with that crown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
why I say it's about growth because okay, one of the owners said something, but now she's talking to a kid that's a millennium, and they're standing up and talking back. But there's talk, there's dialogue, so something good is going to come out of it. So this is why I'm like I said before, I'm pulling for them. But yeah, that was it's a great pickup for the Sparks. But I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm a guard, and Meek was a guard, and Adrian, you could be a guard forward, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm watching great guards, and both of those teams are stacked with great guards. I mean, Courtney Williams last year. When I tell you, oh my God,
Stupid. I'm looking
she
at
was
this
just like
roster.
killing us.
And Shakina Strickland, when she decides to get serious about her work ethic, because I
Yeah, I
remember
forgot
her at
about
Tennessee.
Strickland.
She dropped 40 on us when we went there, Old Dominion. I know what this kid could do. She's ridiculous. When she gets herself in shape, and I don't know what she's doing right now, but she get herself back to the way she was. Oh my God, that girl is a beast. So you're right. I mean, Atlanta's got some serious pieces down there. Elizabeth Williams,
And the best piece they add, and it's unfortunate that she's still being quarantined right now, and that's Gloria Johnson. And the
yes,
reason I say I like Gloria because I'm gonna tell you something. And this is what people, for any athletes on this call, or if you're not an athlete on this call and you got somebody playing in the WNBA, as a GM, I don't have anything to do before the game. So if I'm at the game early, I'm just watching warm up. I've never seen a person warm up as hard as, besides Lisa and Delisha Milton Jones, Meek, your era, because we're different. But I'm talking about this new generation. In this new generation, I haven't seen anybody do the type of warm up that Gloria Johnson's doing. That's why she's always kicking butt and taking names. This kid, when the boss say jump, she's ready to go. I watched her warm up and I'm like, wow, she actually warms up like she plays. You know how many players I see that go through a half warm up and it takes them a quarter to get ready to go on? The thing I love about her, she's a leader and she leads by example. What I say about that, and you might be laughing because of some of the
These
stuff that
young
happened
kids, they
off the
work
court.
ethic,
But
man.
I
I
always
give credit.
say,
Yeah.
but I say that sometimes good things happen to bad people. With the off the court stuff. But I'm gonna tell you something. This kid leads, and she leads by example because she is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen work in the game. Whenever I've seen her play, I've never seen a game that I felt she took a night off. And I
She's
love her,
tough.
and that's why I say
Like her.
Atlanta. They did some great work with that team they got. Now it's just going to be a matter of can they get the blend and get the blend quickly to get out the gate. I'm looking forward to watching them play today.
Yeah, she gonna have to. She gonna have to, cause the time running out. Time running out. She gonna have another. I mean, I give her the COVID, but next year, coach gonna have to start winning, or they gonna start looking. I'm just putting it out there right now, cause she got too much. She got too much fire over there to not be, getting it done. So, there's some great teams out
But
there.
here's another thing I want to say, Adrian, just before we get off this, and here's what I'm liking about COVID right now. There's not much sports going on. So guess what? For all you people that didn't want to watch women's basketball, now you got to watch it because we're out the gate and we're playing. So,
Yeah.
and watching it, I always said, anybody that came to a WNBA game, you're coming back because the product is good.
Yeah.
So now when you see it on television, because it's the only thing to watch, the ratings going to be through, you're going to see just how good these women are. But now
Yeah.
I want to challenge you after this year is when it goes back to normal next year, which I pray is back to normal. Can you do us a favor? Go buy a ticket and go to the game and support them.
Yeah.
Support
If
the
it's in your
women's league
city,
like
no
you're
doubt.
supposed to support them. So now you can say, oh, I've never seen a game. No, our games are rolling. We're playing every other day. It's on television. Hats off to ABC and CBS Sports Network for putting more games on TV. But now here's a part of that thing where I'm saying, now I want to see you take action. Go to the game and support them. I used to tell you back in the Sparks game, I can tell you right now, if you come and you don't have a good time, then come and get your money back. But you can say that because I know the product's good. Once we get you in the door, people keep coming back. And this is why I say I hope next year don't say, oh, we want sports, we want sports. Okay, now you have sports. So next year I want you to return the favor and go buy a ticket and support the women. Do that for me. That's the challenge I'm throwing out there, everybody. Go buy a ticket and go support your team.
I love that challenge. I love it. Goody, you muted.
Sorry about that. The phone was ringing. I wanted to kind of mute y'all out so you can hear all that. But we got Coach Shell, got Coach Daly down there. She down there. She actually works the IMG Academy, and I want to say shout out to you. Your son is doing so good. I know you working him out, and it's not Eric working him out. I know it's you. And he probably his head just blew off when I said that, and I did it on purpose. But she said that Tampa would be a great place to add a team. And she's down there in Florida, so she probably would know. And then Susan, she says, many people still think that women should just be grateful to have a league. Sounds familiar with the civil rights struggle. We should just be happy to be around. And then she's chiming in saying that the league needs a Hampton Roads team. I ain't mad at you. I was just talking about Richmond, how that's a great city. And yeah, Shell, you laughing because I know Eric probably had a fit when I said that you taught your son how to play basketball. So we know what it is. So bottom line is we have a great crowd of people. I love it. And we were also talking about just predicting the different teams because there are some good teams. There's some veteran teams and then the young teams. We talk about the Atlanta Glory. Penny's big on Seattle. Am I correct?
Well, it's not about that. I'm never.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Well,
It ain't
I'm
big,
purple, right? But I'm always purple and gold. Let me throw that out there. Whether I work for them or not, I'm always gonna be purple and gold. I'm always gonna be purple and gold and hope that the Sparks win. But Seattle is gonna be one of the favorites. And if I had to pick another team that I like a whole bunch, and I go Sky. I think they're on the verge of. I think they got a great mixture of good leadership, um, young legs, hungry legs, and then they got two great coaches, and James Wade and Olaf Lang, and they're great developmental coaches. And when you're playing every other day like that, I think, and they were right there last year, minus the second line that Vegas got another chance to live and go on and beat them. Chicago was right there, and I think people are sleeping on them because they're a hard-working team, they're a blue-collar team, and I look for them. I mean, that's like the game today. If you don't know the WNBA is on, it's coming. Oh, it's on right now. Las Vegas and Chicago. They're on TV right now, and that's going to be a great game. So when it comes to winning, though, make no mistake, I'm still going to be true blue. I'm
Purple and
still purple
gold.
and gold, but Seattle and Chicago, Chicago and Seattle is going to be good because, yeah, I want to lay my head down. I always hope the Spartans win. You know,
Yeah,
I just,
absolutely.
you don't be with an organization for 23 years and then all of a sudden start rooting against them. You know, so I'm still pulling for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I look at rosters and I see players, and I ain't never cheering for Seattle, so that just ain't happening. It's not
They
happening.
good though. They real good.
They can be as good as they want to
And
be.
some
I
great
ain't cheering
leadership
for 'em.
and Brianna Stewart and Steve
Okay, and,
Murray.
and even if they are good, I ain't saying they good. So bottom line is that he ain't coming with it. All right, Las Vegas
And
Aces,
Vegas
I'm
still
rolling
gonna be
with
in the
you.
mix.
I'm rolling with you. Oh yeah, they're gonna be in the mix. I'm rolling with the Aces, because
You
I'm
know,
Utah. We went from Utah to San Antonio. We went from two not being wanted to two places. Not being wanted in Utah, not being wanted in San Antonio, and then getting to Vegas where they treat us like the queens that we should be. All the way to the Statue of Liberty at the New York hotel wearing the jersey. That's the love and respect that they get and adoration that they get in Vegas. And I love it, because that's how we should be treated, like a queen, you know. I
yeah,
definitely love the Connecticut, they got some tools. They got some players over there, man. And I'm looking forward to them. I don't think people have are sleeping
Jacqueline
on.
Jones gone. That
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
missing
yeah.
Jacqueline
In
Jones.
the future, early
You're
future
missing
reference.
20 and 20. You're missing 20 and 20. You're missing 20 and 20. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a
that's
big
kind of
ticket
like.
item right there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen,
That's
that's
20
kind of
and
like
20.
that's like trading Natalie Williams from the Utah Stars and thinking you gonna replace 15 and 12.
Who
How
did
you
they trade her
replace
to?
16 and 12? You don't do that. So it's hard to do. So I get what you're saying right now, but I still like I still like the team that they got over there for a young team, you know. But they Chicago is not being slept on.
Down the stretch.
I don't think Chicago's being slept on. I think what's happening with Chicago is Chicago keeps getting to the dance, and then I don't know what happened. They remind me of New York.
Well,
The
I
New York,
think.
the New York Knicks.
Well,
They
no,
get to the
I beg to
dance.
differ.
Listen,
I beg
layups.
to differ.
Layup.
I beg to differ.
Layup.
I beg to differ because I think that, and I want to take my hat off, and I want to say this to Michael Alter, because even when his team was going through his low as an owner, he stayed with that team. He didn't try to sell it. He stayed with them. And I think he got it right now with all the chemistry and hiring James. And I'm looking at the consistency and looking at the players getting better. I look for them to improve on what they did last year. And I'm looking at it because of the maturation of Courtney Vandersloot, the maturation of Diamond the Shields, and having the opportunity of being on the national team board and watching how Diamond has developed, and has she came out of her shell. I thought it was a great move. I wish Jantel Abbott on the floor because she had championship caliber. But like I said one time in one of my own videos, I even take my hat off to. Let me tell you something. Cheyenne Parker had a monster year last year. I mean, she showed that she belonged in this league.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean,
agree.
she made a difference. Like I told Jantel out. And then I always, and this is the one thing I hate about the WNBA, and I'm gonna say this to the fans too. This is the one thing I hate about a lot of fans that they don't know how to appreciate the Stephanie Dawsons of the league. A player that would do anything for the team. If it's defense, I'm gonna do defense. If it's passing, I'm gonna do passing. If it's shooting, I'm gonna do shoot. You do not understand how valuable it is to have those type of role players that don't care about getting any other glory, but be making a big difference what they be doing. And I'm telling you, her maturation and her bringing it, like I'm telling you, Chicago's ready. If they don't get there, it's going to be, if they don't, I look for them to make the semifinals.
That's it?
That's right. I said that. I look for them to make the semifinals. What from there? It's anybody's game. When you get to that point, it's who wants it the most.
No, I'm just saying, I'm making conversation. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
But
saying?
see, there
But
it
I
goes
look
again.
for them to
There
get to
it
the
goes
semifinals.
again, though, Virginia. There it goes again. They get into the
What?
semifinals. And this is what I'm
No,
saying.
they did.
So they keep getting into this.
Last year was the
It's
first
like,
year that they had a
oh,
good
they come
run.
in and, Stop it.
Well, like I said, I got faith in Chicago.
Y'all driving me to drink over
I
here.
got faith in them. And I beg to differ. And I beg to differ because Chicago has never, the last 2 years, Chicago has gotten as far as they want to get. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. They went through Deladon leaving. You know, they went through Sylvia Fowles leaving. So now I think they got a good young core. And just like what we're seeing with the Sparks now with a great core, what we saw with Minnesota with their dynasty winning 4 titles, what we are seeing with the Sparks, Seattle and Minnesota, Chicago, if they keep that core together, they have a chance they're going to have a chance to compete for some titles. And I'm talking some back-to-back titles. They just need to get the first one. You know how it was when when we were trying to get it, we were always right there. Right there. But when we got over the hump, we were the last team to go back to back. The Sparks were the last team to go back to back.
You better know it.
Yeah, that's what made me so mad with Utah. They waited till we got over there, and then y'all going to San Antonio. Oh, thank you. All right, I guess I'll be on the Riverwalk. So we got, and this is a good question for you, Tara. All right, even though, I'm kind of weary with this. How do vets stay encouraged about the future of the league after going through so much building the league? And that's a great question, Susan. I appreciate that because we do. And I've watched players over the years get discouraged, leave, and we haven't seen them in years, Tari Phillips. Go ahead. Tara, you on mute.
I'm off. Well, I think one thing is just to acknowledge and know that you guys are the pillars. So if it weren't for you guys, there would be no opportunities for anyone, current or, the current players now. I mean, you guys are judging that within yourselves and knowing that you were the beginning and you are, I mean, that's one way that you could, definitely still be attached to this because it'll always be a piece of you. Like Penny said earlier about the threads, you guys are the threads of a woven blanket of many different things. So I just think having that, that knowledge, once again, I'm not an athlete, but I mean, I'm the founder of an organization. Do you know what I mean? So it's just being a founder, it keeps me going when I see things that come about or things, challenges or just changes, just knowing that position and knowing that I'm the beginning part of the thread. So I think that that's just encouraging, as these players transition into where they're going and where they're going to take it. And then definitely number 2 is just being the leaders that you guys are, but stepping into that leadership proactively, because you can have a position that you even started, but if you don't work it or you're not still, vesting into it, then you're really not using your leadership. And that just goes back to, what the players are doing now, which I was going to say earlier, but just action is the loudest voice in the choir. So speaking about things is one part, but really acting in it. So just to me, supporting the players that are out there, encouraging them, and just owning that you guys are the pillar and the foundation. I think these are good ways for vets to still be encouraged along the way.
Absolutely, Meek.
Well, I want to add this to what Tara is saying too. I think the league is hearing what a lot of vets are saying, how they want to stay engaged. And Adrian, you've been out there for a long time pushing, hey, you got to take care of your vets. You got to take care of your vets. Like far as the All-Star game, this past year when it was in Vegas, inviting a lot of vets back. Lucia did a lot of work and trying to organize a lot of things for the vets. I say this, they're getting it now because they created a coach's position that teams can hire a third coach if it was a former player. So I think they're getting it. I do think that it's an obligation of the players as well as the leagues to educate them on what the league was, where it is today and where it's going. Now, we still got to do a better job of that, but I also think that those college coaches and those high school coaches need to do a better job in exposing their players to the WNBA and knowing its history. Because how can you aspire to be a champion in something you don't even know what it's about? So I think the league is getting it. I think we need to continue to say that you have to have vets involved because the reality of it is, and I can say this, the only person in the league right now that hasn't changed is Jamin Dershowitz, and he's the league lawyer. But what I mean by that, presidents come and go, but your vets won't. And this is why you do need probably a board of vets that can come in and may see some things because vets have the history. They have the history. But unfortunately, just like anything else, and I can't compare this to the men's league. Okay, Jordan now, they were worth the money they're making now. But when I look at the NBA, half those players ain't even worth the money that they were making. But somebody will always pioneer it. These players here that like when NECA said, I'm fighting for the future of this league, that they will experience some of the good of collective bargaining agreement. But imagine what the next collective bargaining agreement, that's evolution. That's evolution, that's growing. And this is why you do need your vets, but your vets will always turn over. But I do think you need that presence of a history there. But I do think that the league is listening because they created that position. Because once these coaches now sit on these WNBA benches, they don't coach in the league, they will have an opportunity to go coach elsewhere. I mean, if you look around now, look at Sandy Brondello, came from the league. Mm-hmm. Chassie Melvin just got hired as assistant coach, came from the league. You look at, James, who wasn't a player, but his wife was. But if I really were to go down the list, and like I told you, being a GM, it was so easy for me to recruit in college because players that play with me are now the head coaches at the NCAA level. And I don't think a lot of these coaches, including Dawn, would have got the opportunity if it wasn't for the WNBA. And so that's why sometimes when people are criticizing the WNBA about it doesn't pay what the men pay, like what Meek said, it took the men years to get there. But look at all the livelihoods the WNBA has given so many players. Look at Chanel McKay on ESPN. You think Becky Hammond would have had that opportunity to go play with the Spurs if it wasn't for the WNBA? The answer is no. But because Popovich was exposed to her and exposed to her knowledge, he gave her a shot. And now look, once one of us get in there, now look, what is it, like 10 of us down in New Orleans, Boone down in New Orleans, Neil Ivory. Look at Carol Lawson that just went to Duke, but before she was at Duke, she was at Boston. So the WNBA has given people a life outside of basketball, so it's served its purpose and going to continue to serve its purpose.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Facts. I mean, we got a couple of teams out there that have WNBA players. I want to see every team have one and not monopolize it either. Where Chicago, Bridget just left, so there's a gaping wide open. They didn't replace anybody with her. All right, you got out there Seattle. Was it Noelle Quinn?
Hmm.
She's still there.
Yes,
Well,
that's
Queen's
right.
out there.
Noel Quinn. That's right. She's still there.
We, we
C-Rob
got.
down in Dallas.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Crystal Robinson down in
I'm gonna name
Dallas.
them more. I'm gonna name them more for you. Washington Mystics just, they picked up Asia.
Asia Jones, yeah.
Love Asia. Asia, so she's so silly. Um, then you got Phoenix. They replaced Penny Taylor with Chas. So Chas just went over there because Penny Taylor stepped down, be a full-time mom. Then you got Minnesota. They brought Katie over there. That makes sense. They got Katie Planette and Rebecca. That's how much respect they have for the
All players.
for the past and the ball players. You making noise over there. All right. Then Brian got Crystal Robinson out there with her and with him, and Camille Little is out there in Dallas. All right. I keep
And you
forgetting.
forgot about
And
Jen
then you got
Gillum is
Brittany
also in
Johnson.
Phoenix. Jennifer Gillum is in Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Jennifer
She's
Gillum
in a
is
different
also in Phoenix.
role, right?
Let's not
She's in.
forget Grandmama, the real
Oh
That
mama.
yeah, but she's in a
that's a
different role over
fact.
there. She's upstairs. She ain't on the floor, right? She's upstairs, right? And then you got Bill over
No,
there. He
no,
got.
she was on the floor as a coach.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay, cool. And then you got Vicky Johnson and Tanisha Wright over there in Vegas with Bill. So, there are
Yeah.
some teams that are doing what they need to do. A couple other teams that need to step it up and stop with the I'm gonna hire my son, daughter, sister, cousin, auntie, friend. Stop it.
I do believe it really I believe it's a disconnect between the former players and today's players though. And I think a board is necessary. It's necessary.
Yeah.
If nothing more than just to connect the old, the pioneers of the league to the new incoming players. It's funny, when I speak to little girls, and I talk to them a lot and I do a lot of camps and clinics. And I always say, you guys, I always ask them, y'all love basketball? They're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, great. Do y'all watch the WNBA games? Can you name me one or two players that play
No,
the WNBA? No. I'm like, well, then how you love the game? You gotta study what you say you love.
I know you. Stop it.
That's it. They
Stop.
always say Tamika Dixon, but they wouldn't
So
know me had I not had had I
that
not
come
been
in.
exposed to them.
Come in.
So it's same thing. Like some of these players that are coming in have no idea what the history of the league is and what it's been. When I came
Yes.
in '97, I knew who Penny Toller was. I knew who Deidre Charles was. I was I studied y'all. I knew who y'all was. Even with the television not being what it was, the exposure to women's basketball not being what it was. I studied the game, so I knew the Andrea Stinsons. I knew the Penny Tollers. I knew all these players. I knew Dawn Staley. I knew them before I even
Damn,
was
bitch,
able
you
to.
ain't know me.
I knew good. Yeah, of course I knew you, Goody. I knew y'all.
Whoa.
I knew y'all. But I'm just saying I
Oh,
studied it.
damn. Really, you
Now
Crazy.
it's a disconnect. It's a disconnect. So I
Ramona
think
over there?
I think a board definitely needs to be had. I think that's a great idea, PT.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
because in that way you can I don't to be honest with you, I don't think in anything that you can really truly evolve without knowing your past. And it helps and it gives good knowledge. And this is even think about it, even when we were younger, look how much smarter we are now. And I don't believe that any one person has all the answers. And when I say a board, I want to go out there and say this. It doesn't have to be a board of superstars, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what everybody always wants to do. Let me just go get superstars. No, people that's going to be passionate about it, going to be on the board, not for the name, but to be on the board to really bring some
Do
true
something.
culture and some true history behind it. And it's great that we have the NBA legends and women together, but the WNBA needs its own. You need its own to keep filtering that. And because the thing of it is, I think a lot of vets see where the league might have fell short, and they can make up that difference by being more proactive versus reactive, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because after Val Ackerman, you don't have a president that stays longer than 2 and 3 years. So when the new one comes in, it's going to take her a year to get to another league. Where if you had a board that could be active on the player side as well as the league side, this league, I think, will make up some serious ground as far as moving forward in the future. I don't think there's no way around it. You have to have it. So even when these players are finished playing, they'll go on the board and they will push it even further. And like I said, it don't have to be all your stars or players that agree with you. It needs to be a well-rounded board that's going to cover and somebody for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be a vote among the players, because when I say the veteran players, because the veteran players know who's really going to work. The veteran players, we know when players pick it, we're picking according to, we know the person's going to work, what needs they want, and not just people saying, oh, you got a big name, let me pick her and we're going to look good. No, we want to get some results.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, Goody?
That's the key word, results. That's all I want, you guys. I just want my eyes to see certain things with this league, with how they operate, how they do us, what they do, man. Just so that it's proactive and it's benefit for the future of the game. I mean, I watched all different types of sports, and I watched how they used to do the baseball vets and stuff like that. I don't want that to be us, where you got homeless people out in the street, and different things like that, and there's players that are in poverty or impoverished. If you help create or you help build something, then damn it, y'all, we lost a lot of years being out there in the workforce, giving it up for this league. So I think we deserve something back, and I don't think that that's too much to ask. A lot of people, oh, Goody's always whatever.
Well, that's just like
want, but I'm always gonna fight for this league, all the way to being on the players committee and developing the 2002 collective bargaining agreement. Like that's where my love and my heart was. It wasn't about me. It was about making a better place for other people. So,
and that's why I know when I was the GM of the Sparks, any player could call me, any coach that was in the league, and they all would tell you. And some would call up and want to buy tickets. And I always felt like this. Don't even insult me that I would let you pay for a ticket. I would give any ex-player a ticket, any ex-coach a ticket, because I understood that this league would not be here without them. And that's a small thing to do, because it's still... The league's been around for 24 years, but the number of players that play is still small, even though it's 1,000 now. But it's still small because we're not all 1,000 in one place. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say, Goody, you've always been, a person that always spoke up, wanted to push the league. And I'm not saying it because we're on here together, and not everybody's going to do that. And you fought for everybody. You're just not fighting for yourself. And that's why when you asked, when the question came up and said, how do the vets feel not being a part of it? The vets will always be a part of it. Like Tara said, like I said about the fabric of it, because we understand. And just like these players that are playing today, TikTok will hit them and they will not be playing anymore. But the bottom line of it is, anybody that participates in a team sport, you're playing for something that's bigger than yourself.
Absolutely.
Period. The ones that get it. So you'll always be a part of it, because we did what was necessary to make it here for these young ladies to have an opportunity to play. We didn't ask for it. Every time you turn around, somebody say, go to appearance. In our area, we were like, where I got to be? What I got to do? What I got to do? We understood that there wasn't no league here. But these players have grown up and they see this league. And this is why I try to tell them sometimes, and I would say this to players sometimes, no, we're not playing. We need you to go do that. You have to do that for the next girl can have an opportunity to play. And the next one after that, and the next one after that. I used to make it a point even to the staff in the office, and they'll tell you I said this. Okay, stop picking all the stars they're getting paid. Can you pick the 9th, 10th, and 11th man that's being happy to be a part of something and deserve to make some money too? Let the fans decide who's going to be the stars. I want even the league to get to a point where, yeah, I get it. You have to pump some stars. But put some of those others that are right on the verge of being stars and some that are not being stars.
Absolutely.
And let the fans choose who they want to follow and not follow. Because if they're playing, it should be an opportunity for everybody to have a voice.
Yeah.
And to have a say, There's a reason they sell a dozen eggs. and not want to. No, I always believe that. And my office would tell you, I look at those tickets when now most teams have gone away from tickets because everything electronically. But I look at those tickets because I go, wait a minute. Okay, we know Candace, we know NECA, but guess what? You got to know Jantel, you got to know Chelsea, you got to know Cindy. They get a ticket too. It's 34 games. There's enough tickets that everybody need to be on there. So when their family come, they can see their family member on a ticket. That stuff matters. It matters to players. It makes players feel good. It makes them feel like what they're doing is being a part of something bigger than themselves. And we owe it to them to make sure they feel good. And everybody will tell you, if I saw somebody, oh no, we can't have that many tickets. I'm going to tell you right now, we can't have that many tickets with that person because everybody else's mom and friends want to see these people. We want to expose the fans to as many people as possible. And I was always high on that because the only other thing I've been besides it was athlete. And I always tried to treat athletes as if I was talking to myself. And Meek, you knew that. I didn't make any of the rules and regulations. They made them all when I became the GM. When I became the GM, they made all the rules, all the hotels, Meek, that we talked about. We changed all the hotels, put them near malls. At the time, Benny Hanna's and PF Chang was hot. I put the hotels, yeah, because I always wanted athletes to feel good. And this is why I felt like, even as a GM, I could get any player that I wanted to get because my player was going to be my best advertising because they knew how well they were treated.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And everybody wants to, be in that type of organization. You want to be that organization that all of the players want to come to. Like, yo, I want to go play for Golden State. I want to go play for LA. I want to go play for the Clippers. I want to, you want players coming out of college, coming in high school, wherever, our flock is, saying, hey, I want to play for that team. And when you got people saying, I want to play for that team, then you're doing something damn good. So, we winding down. We got the baby of the bunch. She wanted to talk first today, so we're going to let you wind it down fast.
You caught me off guard with that one. I ain't got nothing to come back with on that, but overall, I think this was an awesome conversation. Just about a plethora of things that are going on in the league that we're dealing with now. Some of the vets, and then just a nice kind of scouting report on what we all could look forward to with the WNBA moving into the season. So I'm excited. I'm getting ready to sit on my couch and watch these Aces in the Chicago Sky play on ABC. And that's all I got for right now.
Right, Vegas is coming for you, Virginia. You want to throw that $10 up? Virginia?
I throw up for $10. You lost me out.
Vegas and Chicago off the cuff. $10.
I got
some cash yet, but I can sell you.
You know what? You're so crazy, buddy. You're so crazy. But this is what I want to end on right here. I want to end on this note right here. I want everybody to watch the WNBA. And in addition to that, I want you to tell your friends to watch the WNBA. And like I said earlier, in 2021, I want you to go and support the WNBA. We have a place in history. We're here. We're not going anywhere. So just like everybody wants to be a part of Black Lives Matter, let's be a part of pushing women to the place where we deserve to be. We've earned our right to be at the top of the totem pole. So support us, help us make that happen, and we need the support.
Absolutely. So we're going to let Tara finish it up. Give us some shine, Tara.
Take us out of here.
Tara? She frozen? She's frozen. Tara, you frozen?
Tara went out and got some shoes. She said, y'all talking ball. She went out there to go get some shoes.
She put a picture up there, and, she put a picture up there, make it think that we still talk. She's talking. She's still there.
She's moving now.
She went to go get some shoes. Huh, Penny? She put her still picture up there
Yeah,
and
she
went
went
and
to go
got
get
some
some shoes.
shoes.
She's like, y'all think y'all ballers, but let me go ball y'all up. Yeah, so Tara says she coming for us. Tara says she coming for us.
That's because she can't talk, so we messing with her. But anyway, bottom line is that I see her moving a little bit, but bottom line is this. You guys, you know I love you. I'm always finishing up with the Sammy Sosa. Okay? Tara, I'm sorry that you got frozen in time to see the animation, but we love you just the same. Okay? Toast it up. I would toast you,
Can you
but
guys
it's
hear me?
time already. Tara, you're out of space, babe. You're out of space. If it's not Virginia, now you chiming in with the idling. And the Virginia, we losing you. Virginia,
I'm right here. You so funny. You so funny.
I'm messing with you.
Goody,
But
I'm not inviting you to my picnic.
it's
I'm not gonna
always,
invite you to my picnic.
you know, we had so many topics that we could have talked about today, and we didn't even get to, the point where the men just cannot stay in the bubble. Anybody want to place a bet? I'm looking for a sucker bet for somebody to say that, the men gonna stay in the bubble, cause they not. We already got Lou Will out there outside the bubble down there in the ATL. Stay up out of them strip clubs and know you wasn't eating dinner. Stop. 90 million, 60 million, 50 million, 30 million. You can't stay in the bubble. We over here 50K. Staying in the bubble. Y'all getting 90. Can't stay in the bubble. Get a blow up, dog. I love y'all.
You crazy, Goody.
We gonna take it out on that one, you guys. It's always love. Can't wait to see you again. Sunday brunch is just hot. You already know that if you have Anchor FM, download it. You got podcasts, Apple Podcasts, download it. You got Pocket Cast, download it. Radio Public, download it. Overcast, download it. Somebody want to stop me? Google Podcast, download it. Breaker, download it. Download Sunday Brunch. Also support Sunday Brunch. You want to go out like Tara, checking out on us and get a pair of shoes? Spend 99 cents a month and support them girls over there at Sunday Brunch. Love y'all. Till next week. Penny, your show is on fire. Okay? Keep doing what you're
Thank
doing.
you.
Points for Penny. Watch it.
Thank
Check it
you.
out on YouTube. Y'all subscribe. Points for Penny.
It is what it is. Tara, we love
Thank
you,
you. I
girl.
gotta have you guys on one day. We're gonna debate who's gonna win the championship. I gotta get you guys on there. We're gonna debate who's gonna win this championship.
Okay, well,
Love y'all.
Love
I
y'all, man. Have a good week.
Las Vegas Aces, here we come.
Have a good week, y'all.
Love you.
Peace.
See you guys. Love you guys.